There's a live look at the skyline between Windsor, Ontario and Detroit, Michigan. The Gordie Howe Bridge is finally open. Traffic is flowing after months of delays and political road bumps.
It feels historic. It feels like personally a memory that we will treasure, both of us, something that we'll be able to share with people, and feels like an honor to be a part of this.
Gordie Howe's grandson, also named Gordie, and his wife Margaret were the first passenger vehicle to make the journey over the bridge. The bridge is the product of 15,800 individuals who worked for more than 20 million hours. It's expected to take on 44.5% of the corridor's commercial traffic and save truck drivers some 850,000 hours per year in wait times. Lastly, the bridge will help shoulder the $1 billion in trade that is moved through the Windsor-Detroit corridor every day. Sandy Baruah is the president and CEO of the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce and joins us now. Sandy, it's great to see you. And, you know, I think in Canada, we think about how this impacts us on this side of the border. Tell us how important this bridge is to businesses in your region.
Well, it's absolutely critical to businesses in Michigan in particular, but across the United States. The U.S. and Canada are an integrated market, and that was primarily driven by the automotive industry over 150 years ago. And the fact that we are still united, we're still working, yes, we've got some challenges right now, but I view the current spat a little bit like a boyfriend and girlfriend in college that broke up at the end of the semester, but they'll get back together in the fall.
And I mean, in spite of those challenges, and in spite maybe, even if it is so far as a breakup, what does the bridge do to sort of provide support to the whole idea of free trade and how we can benefit mutually from each other and for each other?
So as I mentioned before, the integrated economy between Canada and the United States, and particularly Ontario and Michigan, we are one region, no different than any collective states in the United States or any collective group of provinces in Canada. We are a united, integrated market. And when you think about manufacturing or agriculture just alone, they rely upon just-in-time delivery. And speed, efficiency is absolutely critical to those industries. When you have delays in a border crossing or any kind of traffic situation, I don't care if it's a border crossing from one city to another or one state to another or one country to another, that costs money, that costs jobs. The new international crossing will help promote all of that. More jobs, more efficiency, more economic growth for both of our countries.
The math is kind of astounding. It's 7 minutes saved per truck crossing. But when you scale that out over the just sheer madness of volume of trucks that go over that bridge in the course of a year, it adds up to like 850,000 hours saved for those businesses that aren't paying for their drivers to sit in traffic, for those truck drivers looking to do maybe something else and grow their own business. This can do a lot, not just for underlying trade, but for productivity, but for competition, for new ideas to come born out of this region. What are you hearing from businesses on your side of the border about what the opportunity is as a result of this?
So, Peter, I'll give you two great examples. Number one is that if you're a truck driver, either an American or Canadian truck driver, you are paid by the minute, and the more expenses that you pay, primarily in diesel fuel, which, as we all know, is close to record highs these days, any minute saved idling is a win for you as the entrepreneur, the truck driver. The second thing I'll say is, as someone who is steeped in the automotive industry, you know, people think, oh my goodness, you know, a new car costs today $40,000, $50,000. You know, you don't worry about 1 cent or 2 cents. Automotive companies and automotive suppliers sweat, toil over every penny that goes into any particular part. If it's a small light bulb, if it's a trim piece, if it's an efficiency that can be gained in the factory. And again, the 7 minutes that you talked about, which from what I hear is the low estimate,
Yes,
is a huge savings for our companies.
In spite of all of this, in spite of all the evidence that this is good for American businesses, good for American workers, we still see the obstacles to trade continue to pile up. We saw the Trump administration introduce a 50% tariff on Canadian goods just last week. What is the message from your Chamber of Commerce to the Trump administration about finding a way through this?
So there are many, many things that the Trump administration is doing and has done that we support, especially around a regulatory reform around manufacturing. We think these are very, very good things. However, we have been very vocal in saying that on the issue of trade and tariffs, this is not helpful to our companies, particularly Michigan-based companies, particularly manufacturing companies and agricultural companies in the state of Michigan. So, we're not afraid to say that, hey, President Trump, we appreciate a lot of what you've done. On this particular issue, we happen to disagree.
The revised deal to open the bridge has gotten a lot of press. Canada's going to take 50% of net revenue, and I think everybody has a different determination of what net revenue is for the next 15 years. What do you think about the argument that whatever the deal was, the benefit to trade offsets these sort of changes on the margins? What is your message to the people who signed that deal in order to get it done? Was it worth it?
So the most important thing is that the bridge gets open. This is a $6.5 billion in U.S. dollars investment by the Canadian taxpayers and the Canadian government to build this new, modern, efficient international border crossing, which will benefit both of our nations. So kind of whatever it takes to get that done, I was okay with. Certainly, I was not advocating, our organization was not advocating in any way. Former Governor Rick Snyder, the Republican from Michigan who negotiated the final deal with former PM Harper, certainly was not negotiating or suggesting that we needed any more revenue. We are just very thankful to the Canadian people and the Canadian government for paying for this international crossing because it's going to benefit all of our businesses.
Just one last question. I mean, I've talked to you in the past leading up to this and the anticipation for it and the anxiety about it. How did it feel when you saw first Gordie Howe's grandson drive across and then the first truck to go across, I think, was One Freight Logistics, a trucking company out of Tecumseh, Ontario, hauling auto parts to Michigan. What went through your mind when you finally saw that first truck get across the border?
So, Peter, even as late as last night, I was telling people, hey, let's not get ahead of our skis. We never know if this thing's going to actually open. But I got a photo of Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer that she sent to me driving a beautiful Mustang convertible across the bridge. And then shortly thereafter, I got a picture of U.S. Senator Gary Peters riding his motorcycle,
right,
the first motorcycle to go over. So I know the bridge is open. I'm happy. I don't need a ceremony. I'm all good.
Indeed. All right. We're going to leave it there, but really appreciate your time. Sandy Baruah with the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Peter.